My boyfriend just broke my heart with one sentence. So my boyfriend have been together for almost a year now. We met at school and are now medium distance, so we can only see each other once a week. We decided to start using an app that asks each partner questions every day regarding to the relationship, memories, etc. It's been a nice way to stay connected and have meaningful things said day to day. There have been a few times where his responses have really hurt my feelings. I'm sure he doesn't even realize, however this one in particular just crushed me. I have gone through a weight loss transformation and fell in love with the gym almost 2 years ago. Recently I have gained back a little bit of weight due to stress, and I'm constantly overthinking about how my boyfriend views my body. Today's question for him was, do you think we would have liked each other if we met at a different time in life? For example, 5 years earlier. His response was, I think maybe we would have been friends and then I'd like you after a bit after you started weight loss journey. I actually felt my heart break reading it. My weight and body image is such a tough topic for me and he knows this. I have no idea how he thought this comment would be received well by me. Just really showed me how conditional this relationship is. On the flip side, if he gained weight, or talks about how he used to be overweight, I am nothing but loving and supportive towards him and genuinely have no emotional reaction to the idea of his body changing in the slightest. It just made me catastrophize and made me so anxious. What if I had this man's kids and inevitably my body changes? Is he going to want to be just friends until my hot bod is back? This crushed me and I have no idea how to bring it up or if I even want to. Am I being too sensitive over this? What would you guys do? I am so hurt and confused, I don't know where to start. Comment. I agree, it does sound like his love is conditional. Your bodies will change over time, and if he can only love you at your current size, then maybe he isn't the one? I'd suggest having a conversation with him about it and expressing the concern. I wouldn't ignore this giant red flag. Oof. What an insensitive thing for him to say. He is probably like those guys who come on here and say I love my girlfriend but I am not attracted to her anymore, and I don't want sex with her unless she loses weight, and I think she is starting to notice. What do I do? Do you want to be with that type of guy? Or cut your losses and run? I think that your questions are fair and people would be less disappointed if they had open conversations like that. There are men who feel less attracted to their partners when they are pregnant and after childbirth. It would be nice to know that before having children than after. Talk to him about your insecurities. It's better to know the truth now, than to find out after getting pregnant. He used to be overweight, too. And he thought that was an okay thing to say? I think you definitely need to bring this up again. Especially since he said other things that hurt your feelings before as well. Girl, I have body issues too. I was in good shape 3 years ago, but my mental health was horrible. He dragged me to the hospital. I was diagnosed with atypical anorexia. Now here I am, after 3 years of extensive therapy and hospital visits. I gained nearly 10 kilograms, I'm still in the healthy range, but I hate my body. And you know what? My BF has been nothing but supportive. He always let me know that I'm hot, I'm beautiful in his eyes. And he's happy I'm in a better place mentally. I'm saying that because unless you were morbidly obese, if he can't love you when your weight fluctuate, he care more about your body than you as a whole. I'm sorry, it hurts, and I'm sure you're a gorgeous girl even with some weight gain. What I would do if I were you, is the next time you're seeing him, explain to him that his comment hurts. Describe what you're thinking of yourself, what you're feeling. How he'll respond to that will let you know what to do. There's a chance he's just a bit clumsy, my BF was, and said things that hurt me involuntarily. Communicating fixed that, and he'll be sorry and reassure you he'll love you no matter what. Or, he's an asshole, and he'll tell you that your value is determined by your weight. In this case you should indeed drop the weight by leave him because fuck that. Why, he is being honest. There is a reason you wanted to lose the weight, not just health. Would you date someone honestly if they were really big after your weight loss? People are attracted to their type. It's actually nice to know your boyfriend is honest with you. It's your insecurity, not his. Something you need to work on. Secondly, a partner should know better to say things that would upset you. But at least you know the truth. It's shallow, but it's honest. Don't forget the first part. Story 2. My ex and I are in a confusing situation and I don't know how to move on. My ex-girlfriend and I dated for 8 months before breaking up. Even though we connected well and enjoyed each other's company, there were some strong family/cultural differences that led to frequent arguments, and even my family and friends didn't approve of her/were telling me she wasn't the one. This got to my head and I did something I regret a lot. I created a Bumble profile while we were in the relationship. I felt guilty and deactivated it without actually doing anything, but one of her friends ran into me on the app, screenshot, and sent to her, which understandably led to the end of the relationship and us not talking for a couple weeks. I apologized like crazy to her and she eventually came back and forgave me, and we have been hooking up/in a situationship for the last few months. We still hung out often and went on cute dates, but swept the breakup thing under the rug. We were both in this mode of, this is not gonna work out long term, but let's just have fun for now. Fast forward to the entire last month of October, and she goes on a 1-week cruise with her family, followed by staying at their place, on the opposite coast. She had a few weddings and other events, busy with family/friends, so I generally didn't hear from her much, and it confused me because we would still talk and text a good amount even during busy times when she's in the same city as me. Now I wouldn't hear from her for days, and when I was showing affection she was suddenly being cold, distant, and pulling away, which was the opposite of how she was in the situationship phase. Then, on Halloween night she suddenly is texting me more often, and asks if I was gonna be in a specific neighborhood that night to party/go out. I thought she was still in her hometown, and confronted her as to why she didn't tell me that she came back that day, which was immediately obvious. She said that I'm delusional and think we are still in a relationship even though we are obviously broken up, and then the fact that she actually got to process the breakup during her time home and had her support system/people on her side convincing her that it's time to move on. She even said they created a dating profile for her, but she doesn't feel ready to date just yet. She told me that she didn't want to tell me that she was back because I would want to hang out constantly and she wanted to do her own thing for a few weeks. And that I would eventually catch on. I'm not sure what this meant. Anyways, I drunkenly went over to her place at the end of the night thinking I wanted to talk to her, and she freaked out and said that's not okay, this being in contact isn't working, and I apologized. She blocks my number. Then I hear from her again 2 days later and she forgives me. She said that she's ready to move forward and probably won't go on dates anytime soon, but wants to hang out with her friends for a few weeks before we hang out. She also suggests no contact for a bit, and apologized saying that she isn't super affectionate and not a big texter with her friends, but clearly this is false as she was the opposite in our relationship. Her attachment style is avoidant, so I'm pretty sure her not speaking is when she's processing things usually. She also said she cares for me and enjoys my company, but I am not that girl for you. Fast forward rest of the week, she calls me twice while working, asks what I'm up to and is texting me a little more often but not as much as relationship. She likes listening to me talk about my life but doesn't reveal much about hers other than where she is spending the day, which I find odd. She also checked in to make sure I got home safely last night. I am confused because it feels like she wants no contact but also calls and texts me. Is she using me when she's bored? Also, I can't get over this jealous feeling that she might be going on dates with other guys even though I can do the same with girls. For some reason, I just don't feel ready. How do I overcome this jealousy and move on for good? Her behavior confuses me. Does she still have feelings? Comment. You felt ready enough to date other girls when you created a Bumble profile though. You cheated/planned to cheat instead of just ending it, or still having sex with her without a label after ending it, and showed up to her house drunk. I think she cares about you more than she should, to be honest with you. She should have cut you off the first time. Y'all are near 30 and you let your family get in the way of what could have been a nice relationship. So, yeah, that's on y'all. It sounds more like she's slowly fading out and talking to you less than before. Probably doesn't wanna hurt your feelings. Story 3. My friend has excluded me from their social life. Can this friendship survive? Hey. I have a friend, let's call him A. We've been on good terms for past 10 years, had our ups and downs, but in general we have always supported each other and he is quite important person to me. We are part of a group of 10 friends which has been quite stable for past few years. 5 years ago I've started a family. We have 2 kids, 2,5. They are the only kids in the group. 3 years ago we moved out to live a bit slower life around 1.5 hour drive from all of our friends, because that's where mine and my spouse family lives and we felt that we could use closer family support from time to time. After we moved out, we have been ones with biggest place, so we started to invite people to come over to our house on multiple occasions to celebrate and spend time together. We felt that this is important, because we were ones moving out and we wanted to still be part of the group. This year alone, we hosted 3 parties for our friends, which consisted of prepping food for 15 people, prepping place for everyone to sleep, all while having 2 kids, which are lovely, but still kids, and also trying to keep everything not so messy in home. Quite amount of work for 2 people. But we were happy to host this. Most of our friends love our kids and we usually spend great time together. Fast forward this summer, A was hosting a birthday party in the city. It was taking place in non-fancy restaurants area, very informal. We were invited and we planned to go together with kids. About 2 weeks before the event we met at some occasion and he and his girlfriend mentioned briefly that remember, kids are not invited. We were bit shocked with this comment, as we did not plan to have anyone watch them. I was supposed to go alone, but my wife was sick so I had to stay home with her and kids. Few weeks ago A and his girlfriend have moved south for a few months, and we've been discussing possibility to go over there and visit them. We had this idea that we could go there with whole group and hang out together in the area they stay for a few days. No plans were made yet, but I thought it would be nice to go over and visit them. Now fast forward to yesterday. We've been on a birthday party without A in the city. We asked about other people's plans for New Year's Eve, as we thought we could spend it together, but they were a bit confused and told us that they were invited to A's party in South and everyone is coming. They thought that we knew about this and decided not to go, but we've just learned this and I was left quite mad. I think that the main influence on him is caused by his girlfriend, who don't want to be bothered around kids. How should I confront him about this, so I don't turn out to be entitled person who is mad about not getting an invite? Or maybe I should just ignore him. At this point I wonder if we are still friends anymore. With everything that happened in past months I feel like he only wants me in this group, but not my whole family. The truth is, we probably would not have come anyways, and they might have concluded that, as this is kind of party that you don't want your kids to be around. But I'm just not happy that this decision was not made by us, but him. Also a note, we cannot hire a nanny for our kids, because our older kid has autism and he does not feel well among strangers. We rely only on our parents, which has its limits. Also, during any events, we make sure that they are occupied and not bored, by buying some toys, puzzles, cards. They do not run around and yell all the time. No other friends have any issues with having us together with them. Comment. Edited to clear up voice to text BS. Why does everyone talk about confronting when discussions are adequate? Confronting people is confrontational, that doesn't sound good. Your friends are having events where kids aren't allowed. They don't want children around. This is not specific to you or against you or your kids personally. They can still love your children and also want to have adult events. You need to make other friends who have children and organize play dates and possibly meet other people who you can leave your kids with so you can have adult time without the kids. You should talk to him. Find out why you weren't invited. Yes, they probably want a party without kids, but they should have invited you and said, adults only. After you talk to him, make your decisions.